Hey, all you pilgrims on the Ascension journey. Travis Carper, Ascension Health Coach. All right. Hey, beautiful out again. I think it's 93 degrees, Southern Oregon. Um, anyways, so I think just briefly, I threw out a few things on the last video, events, horizons, just different events. Kind of metaphorically too, like, not only geopolitically events that are coming up, but the waves that are coming in. There's going to be some more heavier, photonic energetic waves coming in. Some air showers, the particles, right? The adamantine particles, which I call them cosmic rays, but they're being released through our sun and being buffered by our benevolent space family. Of course, I mean, if you just look through all the charts, all the different Schumann resonances charts, and the electron flux charts, all of them, over the years, you'll start seeing the patterns and stuff. So anyways, let's move on. I really wanted to talk about a little bit more in depth about how the cosmic rays, the gamma ray, the higher frequency vibrating electrons, and when they come in and they come in through the ionosphere, and when they get down here, right, as these secondary particles, which I think the astroparticle physicists or whatever, that's what they say, the secondary particles. But anyhow, what happens when it gets into the epidermis and the layer, or our actual field, right, our morphogenetic field, our biofield physiology. In fact, let's just read from Alchemical Wizard 21. Cosmic rays influence on our biofield physiology. Cosmic rays influence on our biofield physiology and how we can enhance our epigenetic health to compensate for the recent astronomical alignments and photonic energetics, because there's going to be some more higher ones coming in. And so when I talk about the other Alchemical Wizard one that I did on epigenetic health, there was like a list of different plant foods and that you could go through to help with your methylation inside of your body. So definitely we're getting into the higher frequency foods, so that's why the trend is going towards vegan, and it's more of a plant-based, just pull it off the vine, out of the root, fresh fruits and vegetables as much as you can, really, honestly, because that's a higher frequency. And if you can get into that higher frequency, meditation is good for higher frequencies, to be silent, and so that your emotional scale is like centered, and so that you can bring in these particles, because these higher frequency particles attract, like the law of attraction or the law of coherence is like attracts, right? So that's why this whole thing that I've been going through, whatever we're on now, 40 plus videos, is all about trying to get into a higher state, a higher vibration, so that you can be aligned with Gaia and the cosmic, because we have moved into the photon belt, and there's numerous blogs about that at 3decrees.org that you can look up where we're at, the solar, where is our solar system. That was like one of the first ones I wrote. Anyways, let's read from here, because I can just go off all day on tangents, okay? Beautiful out, huh? All right. And you guys probably always see me really happy. I just wanted to say that real fast, because I usually, like, if I'm not happy and I'm feeling, the Ascension symptoms myself, I'm usually resting. Okay? So that's why I'm probably like, most of the time that I'm shooting a video, I usually don't shoot the video when I'm sick, I don't know why I told you that. From ultra high CRs, cosmic rays, to the secondary particles, highly charged electrons in astroparticle physics. The secondary particles that come through the ionosphere are called chorus particles. A higher density of energized electron particles, adamantine particles, which I call them from old school, from a long time ago, from the cheilontic morphogenetic science from a billion years ago, which acquire the role, or there's blogs and writing about it too. The smallest, you know, the muons, the electrons, protons, neutrons, quarks, the smallest of particles, right? Energized, which acquire the role of free radicals within our biofield physiology. So these are the electrons and protons coming in, the smallest particles that are coming in through the ionosphere, okay? The addition of a fifth dimensional Merkaba, your aura, your field, your biofield physiology, right? Your morphogenetic field, whatever. There's all kinds of descriptions that I use, okay? Or higher frequency biofield to the atom cadmium human template now requires a higher energized system to become fully activated and achieve a correct spin when they talk about the chakras spinning at higher than light speed operations. So I'm trying to get everybody prepared here because at some point there is going to be disclosure about this ascension process. It's gonna like get more mainstream in the next, you know, I'd say, I don't know, whatever. I'm thinking next couple of years it's gonna have to break out and people are gonna have to know what's going on because there's people having symptoms, you know. Think about everybody that's going through, you know, drive-through still. I mean, if you put a microscope underneath the food and look at actual, like that fast food, packaged food, I'm just saying, okay, just put a microscope to it. All right, fresh foods, foods from the ground, from the vine, from the tree, from, you know, all right. This buildup of additional electron free radicals within our biofield physiology acts as a capacitor until the required charge is released or absorbed. This is where the beginning of the Kundalini awakening, or which I call the starseed activation, occurs, where you get more energy. Like when I went through mine was in 2015, June 1st, 2015, and I was meditating 3 times a day like a crazy person in, of all places, Key West, Florida. I already told that story. And I felt the energy and the pop of my back too. So that was the spinning and more added energy to my energy field, my biofield physiology, right? Because this biological body can transmute and hold more photonic light energy. This can cause a large pulse of electrical activity to pass through the biological body and discharge excess electron free radicals. That has happened to me about 4 or so times where there's discharge, there's a massive buildup. Like when some of these bigger waves come in, I'll have like a massive extra, and that's why you meditate. I usually sit because of my back against a chair out in the backyard with bare feet so that I can move those electrons and that higher energy right into Gaia, and Gaia can release it out, right? And Gaia, the earth, the second most abundant element is silicon, so crystals, so it can hold a ton of energy. And now that we're in the photon belt where there's higher particles, higher frequency energetics, right? It's moving, it's shifting to the 4th density. Do you see how that works? The cosmology, and then the particle physics, and then us. And I'm going to explain more about our own avatars, our temples, our vessels. Okay, where was I? So it happened to me, okay, mostly at night while in delta brainwave pattern sleep since 2015. Okay, so this creates a temporary overload on the myofascial tissue, right? That white myofascial tissue that's over the muscles and the nerve endings and everything, right? So that's where the hormones and the electrons, right, they're moving around, these free electrons, right? Okay, and the myelin sheathing of the body's endocrine and nervous systems, while the cell's atomic structures change their electron positions to find other positions on the valence bands, giving off photons in the process. So what's happening is with these free radical electrons, let's just go with that. And then they get in through, well, we're going to explain more of it right here. This transmutational process from an electron-charged electrical nervous system to a chromophore axiochrome-based photonic light system, or a more crystalline-based biological body, will provide faster speeds and greater variance of communication abilities. Okay, so the chromophore and the axiochromes. So these are a couple of the guys that take the colors and change. But what they're doing, let's read further because I think I explain it a little bit more. This takes place between the consciousness and the individual cells within the biological body. As the mitochondria switch, the mitochondria are inside the cells, right? And there's like 1,000 of them, switch from a glucose base, how they make energy, we've already talked about this, how they make ATP. Switch from a glucose-based feeding system to a photonic-based energy feeding system. Our mitochondria is utilizing light energy more, well, chromophores and oxiochromes, etc., and acting more and more like chloroplast and less feeding from glucose. So it's carbon to crystalline, a morphogenesis, especially now as the ascension process unfolds. Part of that is being done now. But as more of our dormant DNA strands come online, the more of this higher frequency or dimensional shifting can take place. So you have the free electrons coming in, right? And they're bouncing off and they're being absorbed. Think about how your body is already naturally taking in sunlight, energy, photonic energy, and it's transferring with nutrients that you've put in your body and making vitamin D. Your body actually, your avatar, man, it makes things. It makes vitamins. It takes from the plants and it makes other vitamins that it needs, and it takes from the microorganisms that are on plants. If you can get it now, the probiotics and all these other microorganisms and the trace minerals, the things that you don't get when you eat packaged foods. Okay, so it's taking those good nutrients and utilizing it with the electrons, and it bounces off and makes other molecules. So you're getting down into the biomolecular chemistry of it, okay? So what your body is naturally doing, it's doing more of as we go through. So you want to help it epigenetically, because the environment that we're in, it can change. Now, I don't, and it's not like overnight either. This is not like a spiritual new agey overnight. This is a process, man. This could be like 100 years, I don't know. But I know that it takes a long time as your body keeps absorbing more energy, and how your mitochondria is going to switch over to take in the photonic light and act more like the chloroplast in plants. It takes the sunlight and energy and it utilizes that, and it makes the energy. So that's what our biological bodies are doing, and that's what this whole field is, this whole biofield physiology, because it comes into your light body, your chakra, your Merkaba, the whole Ayurvedic thing, the causal body, the emotional body, the subtle energy body, these fields, right? The morphogenetic fields. So it's coming in and your body's starting to transfer it. It's starting to utilize it on a biochemical, molecular way, okay? So let's read on. Please consider reducing consumption of heavy metals and toxic contaminants, increasing a diet of antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and high vibrational foods that can assist you and ease you into this process, as will all of the holistic health practices like yoga, qigong, meditation, mindfulness, just taking time out to be slow and be the observer. That whole, mindfulness is just takes, all the concepts of like from spiritual psychology and transpersonal psychology basically. Walking, sitting in nature, exercise, structured water, cold water showers, because in the old days, in indigenous ways, we didn't really we had some hot springs, but most of the time you woke up and you jumped in the river or something, it was cold. But what happens is it gives your blood-brain barrier, it gets things moving into your bloodstream. That's another reason why it's been so crazy since the 50s with these closed box houses with heating and cooling, and you're staying at one temperature and you're not actually getting outside and feeling the circadian rhythm. I know I talk about that a lot, but it's the rhythm that the planet's on right now, and you want to be in that because it's not going to be 7.83. Well, that's just a Schumann resonance. That's just a measurement. But we can absorb more of it if we just hang out a little bit more in nature. It's free. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you can go the whole electronic, biohacking too. They make Schumann resonators or whatever. Of course, they had to because the astronauts and cosmonauts. Moving on. A lot of info. Vibrational foods helping, all that, structured water, cold water showers. So what I do is I just do the hot water. At the end, I just make sure I run some cold water on myself and then jump out. Okay, so that our charged biofield physiology can become more capable of sustaining the higher vibrational frequencies of a fifth dimensional expanded consciousness and be more in alignment with Gaia and the cosmic consciousness. The field of neuroepigenomics explores how food and epigenetics work together to influence health and well-being. Our diets have also been shown to modify epigenetic tags in significant ways. DNA methylation is a major epigenetic modification involving the addition of a methyl group to the 5' position of the cytosine by DNA methyltransferase to form 5-methyl cytosine 5-MC. This epigenetic mark has the power to turn genes on and off and can be inherited through cell division. Foods, vitamins, and supplements are listed in Alchemical Wizard 18. So you want to help with nutrients too and what you're eating, okay? And help your DNA, because these are electrons and free radicals are hitting other ones and knocking things around, and that 90% potential DNA is restructuring itself. So it's a long process, but it's not super hard to be that, it doesn't seem like it for me, I guess, to be dedicated, what is that word? Disciplined. It doesn't seem like it's super hard to be disciplined, with doing the exercise or qigong. You just add it to your life, and pretty soon other things will fall away, other things that aren't as important. So that's kind of how that I'm suggesting to people, or having them consider to adding. I'm going to have that green superfood smoothie this afternoon, and I'm going to start making that almost every day of my life. I'm going to go for a walk every morning in nature. I'm going to go sit in my backyard for about 5 or 10 minutes before I go to jump in a car and go to work. All of that. Anyways, the list for the supplements and vitamins and the foods and stuff are in the Alchemical Wizard 18 to the methylation, epigenetic health, okay? Plant-based high-frequency foods are highly recommended recommended in this transmutational process, morphogenesis. Please stay hydrated with structured water and get outside in nature away from artificial EMFs, the EMF pollution. You know, there's your Wi-Fi at home, the power lines, well, of course the cell towers, and having your phone plugged in next to your bed, not good. I'm guilty of that one. Yeah, electromagnetic fields disrupts your DNA, especially right now. What we're trying to do here, or what I'm trying to convey, is that the the more natural world and what it's going through on a cosmic level will help you. And if you can get away from like the televisions, the electricity in your walls too, the electrical outlets in your walls, that's, and the lighting too, I mean, that lighting's terrible. It's like, I guess the light bulbs back at the beginning of the century are better health-wise than all the new ones. I'm not kidding you. Even the LED, you know, all that. So as much as you can, just try to think Zen, you know, Japanese, those guys, how they built the garden right out and they can just sit on their porch, you know, and meditate. Just think about what indigenous people do, or the Buddhists do, you know, the Tibetan Buddhists, the Zen Buddhists, the indigenous tribes of the world. What do they do? What are the Aborigines in Australia? What do they do? You know, what are they out in nature a lot? You know, what are the guys in the jungle in the Amazon? What are they doing? What are they eating? You know, antioxidants quite a bit. I mean, you know, just keep that in mind. All that, it's old, just hidden, you know, it's not hidden knowledge. It's just old knowledge about how to take care of your avatar. You know, I know the modern world's just not, it's basically a negative design, and it was designed that way, unfortunately, to keep us in slavery, just like the whole monetary system. I mean, basically everybody's in debt. There's either credit cards, cars, all kinds of materialistic things. You don't even own your own property underneath your house. In fact, the bank probably owns your house, but the property, you still have to pay property taxes and all that, right? You don't, basically there's, yeah. We got off. Take lots of linear timeouts. Timeout, Trav. Yeah. I'm taking a timeout. Remember that your avatar absorbs energies. Seriously, all the EMF pollutions, all the people's energies, the different packaged and processed food energies, you know, just keep that in mind. This is the electromagnetic universe, right? And you are a multi-dimensional light being, which means you're connected to everything. You're connected all the way to prime creator, source, okay? So dimensionally, your biological body, your avatar, and your biofield physiology is shifting, right? That's why people are getting symptoms, because there's higher energetics. So you try to align yourself with these holistic health tips and tools and techniques, okay? It is up to, let's see, absorbs energies. It is made up of, your biological body, 70% water filled with microorganisms held together by an electromagnetic field, morphogenetic field, biofield, etc. itself. So, yeah. So you know, this is all like water, and man, is that mutable. Water, super mutable, liquid, gas, solid, and it's 70%. So it can be, and the electrons coming into the water, right? They can move around. Things can move around and shift and hit other molecular structures and make other molecular structures. Carbon to crystalline. If they make other structures and they make the mitochondria starting to, and you get in further into the DNA, the potential DNA restructuring itself and becoming more of a crystalline Christ crystalline consciousness, Christ consciousness, and your biological body starts becoming more crystalline. You know, the carbon's being compressed by these electrons, right? That's how they make diamonds. It's basically, everybody's a diamond in the rough, in the raw. Everyone's a potential diamond. You're diamonds, man. All right, that's enough. Getting all funny. I just wanted to go over that. Hopefully that explains a little bit more what's going on. So really, you know, stay hydrated with the structured water, with good energized water. Try to get your water energized. Sit it out in the sun, that's all. I mean, they make crystals and stuff you can set in there to energize it. Put some trace minerals, put some chlorophyll, you know. Read that article too, I wrote that one. You know, do your own research too. Self-empower, of course, you know. As always, you guys. I mean, everybody's going through this on planet Earth right now, and it's miraculous. And you know, some of us have it harder than others and stuff. So we that have, you know, gone through a bunch of crazy homeless things and acquired a bunch of knowledge through the metaphysical bookstores and meeting people around the world, shamans and different cool people, you know, we got to go and kind of hold people's hands right now and give them some information so they can do their own research and try to get a little bit healthy right now, because it can be hard if you don't know what's going on. I know that one. All right, that's enough. I gotta cut that right here. I'll keep talking.